the party is aligned with the general membership of the party? Raise your hand. So I see a hand, but I think it's because she's holding up a cell phone. And that, I think, is one of the primary reasons why we're going to have President Trump. Oh, I can't believe I just said that. How many of you think that one of the reasons why the Democratic Party has lost its direction is because they have gotten in bed with businesses and corporations that will not even let me finish the sentence. Okay, but if you guessed the sentence, I'm sure you were right. And the fact is that those of us that are still in the party are wondering, I think I know I am, what the heck? You know, we have our ideals and we're selling out to these corporations. Some of them are oil companies, some of them are insurance companies, some of them are big pharma, and I could go on and on, but I won't, because we do want to go home eventually. So the idea then is get the money out of politics, right? And as far as the Democratic Party is concerned, the party has to have money to survive, but it doesn't mean that we have to accept money from those corporations that are 180 degrees away from our feeling. Mike. Yeah. Okay, I'll do this. Okay. So what's been happening is, as we all know, the CDP takes money from corporations. Let me give you just a quick example, and that example is the Democratic Party has been taking money from big oil. And how many of you think that's good, No, the answer is no, and oil companies that are doing fracking. And I want to announce that thanks to the Environmental Caucus, as of today, the California Democratic Party will not take money from big oil. Now that's a really good start, but there's a lot to go. And if I may just say something about myself, I am a firm believer in that, and that is why I'm going to be running for controller of the party. So anyway, oh, okay, I knew it, thank you.
Next up, Big Pharma!
So if you're a DSCC member in April at the convention, I would appreciate your support and your vote. Now, what I'd like to do next is go on to the reports of the officers of the party. But first, I want to introduce somebody. I don't see where she is, but I know she's here. I want to introduce the former Progressive chair and she was head of she was chair of the Bernie delegation, co-chair in Philadelphia. Just stand up, please, wherever you're at. And that is Karen Bernal. We were just in the African American Caucus that was in this room, and they gave a pin, like a lifetime pin. We need to talk about doing that. So what I'd like to do, we don't have pins, what can I tell you? But what I'd like to do now is go with the officer reports, and somewhere I have my list of officers. I'll just do it from memory. We have and some of the officers have reports. Most of them have given up their time so that we could have Nina Turner and Alexandra Rojas. I was about to say left, they left, but I see them now. Okay, great. So we'll start with the northern part of the state. Our northern vice chair is Vince Casalaina, and he's behind the camera, way back there, waving his arm. And since he's back there, I'm going to assume that he is not going to give a report, at least not yet. We move down to the central area, and we have Ms. Judy Hess. And I assume you don't have a report. Okay, we keep going down, and we go down south, and in which happens to be where we are, and we have Susie Shannon, who I believe does have a short report.
So I really hope there are no children here tonight, because I just want to say that we are really fucked. I work on Skid Row with people who are homeless. I am already seeing rats come down trees into people's tents. I already see women who are in wheelchairs with no blanket and no sleeping bag and no tent. And I already have people who have housing vouchers who can't find housing. And I already have people who have housing vouchers and housing who are not going to be able to keep their homes. So I just want to say that I don't think we need to sugarcoat anything, because things are going to get much worse than anyone can possibly imagine. And I am now a member of the DNC, and I am the only Bernie delegate who was elected to the DNC from the state of California. And we need real reform, because I don't know how many people needed to hold the no TPP signs at that convention before the DNC would take a position against the TPP and to tell the people who are in the West State who lost their jobs from NAFTA and from bad trade deals, but the Democratic Party was against that trade deal. And it was okay, actually, to embarrass our president, to make sure that we had a future presidency that had a Democrat, because now everyone has lost. So I am going to make a move to abolish our superdelegate system. We do not need a layer of people voting on top of everyone else, which gives us a false barometer of who can win an election. There's too much to lose at this point. So I want you to write down these dates. December 3rd, we are having our executive board meeting for the DNC in Denver at the Hyatt Regency downtown. That is when the DNC will be making the rules to decide how we elect the chair. So we won't be electing the chair there. That is when we will be deciding on the rules. If you can get there, you need to get there. February 26th to 28th is when we will be having our general meeting for the DNC, when we actually elect a chair. Now, I'm fine with Ellison. Yes. I'm hoping Nina Turner gets in the race. So for the 3 people who wrote me letters asking me to go with Ellison, I hear you. I hope more people write, because if I'm getting 3 letters, I'm guessing the other DNC members are only getting 3 letters. Write letters to your DNC members, please. I have their email addresses. I'm fine giving you their email address on how to get a hold of them, but I am withholding my endorsement until I find out if this woman is getting in the race. So, thank you so much.
And you know, if I may say so, this is why we need to get progressives into the DNC. It's also, Susie Mate is very lonely there. And we also, if I may add, need to get progressives into the officers of the CDP and probably into the office. Thank you. I wasn't actually going for that, but I also believe that we should work on getting progressives into our county parties too. It's about time, we're the majority. There's no question in my mind. It's about time we took over and got the power. Anyway, pardon the editorial. Next on our list is Blake Hooper, our parliamentarian, who does not want to, who's yielding his time. Thank you, Blake. And we have Mike Goldman, who will give one of the most exciting reports of the evening, the Treasurer's report. Okay, we've got some money and we're going to spend it. And normally we would have a report where we'd say how many people are in this meeting, but I couldn't even begin to guess. Although I will say that this is the e-board meeting. The e-board had 225 members show up. I think we've got way more than that in here. We don't need, well, never mind.
There is a huge number of people.
That's Mike Goldman. He's a wild man. What can I tell you? Okay, next on my list is Ralph Miller, who is our secretary, but he was stuck at work today, so I'm sure he's here in spirit, maybe. Anyway,
spirits in him.
Next on the list is Samantha Farmer, who is our communications director, and likewise, she couldn't make it. So, thank you, Sam, wherever you are. I'm sure she's also here in spirit. Next on my list is Dorothy Reich, at-large member.
You know, I remember the day that we brought the Trans-Pacific Partnership resolution to the California Democratic Party. I wrote it, but in order to get it passed, I had to bring in Susie Shannon because Celeste Drake from the ACLU-CIO, AFL-CIO was not enough to convince John Hanna that we should pass that resolution. And it's passed and the TPP is gone and we were the first state to oppose it, so it's great. So I am thinking general strike. That's what I am thinking. If we had a general strike, how many people would stay home that day? That's all? Not all of you? General strike. No? One day? How many people would stay home that one day just to show Donald Trump we mean business? Alright, that's better. So let's think about getting PDA, DFA, Move On, BLM, everybody, and let's stay home and show this asshole that we're not going to put up with him.
Thank you, Dorothy. Before I introduce our last officer, because he's going to introduce the guests, I want to thank our guests. We have an incredible lineup of guests. You know of one of them already, but we also have Alexandra Rojas. She is of brand new Congress, and she's part of our first panel. We also have Alan Minsky here from KFPK, who's going to moderate. And then a little later, we have another topic, and we have Jim Soper, if he's here, but I think he might have been lost in the crowd. He's eating. Oh, he's eating. Okay, when when Jim Soper is done, he will come in. And we have Mimi Kennedy right here. Mimi Kennedy is of PDA, and she's got this show. She's an actress and on Mom. And it's a really good show. You gotta watch it. Okay, now I'm going to introduce our last officer, Ajamu Makalani, who is our officer at large, and he's going to introduce our first panel.
I'll let you introduce.
Oh, okay, I'll introduce.
Okay, I'm glad that we have so many people that are here today. So I'll try to make my comments really brief in terms of my officer report. I said I'll try. Okay, Susie was correct. We're in a state of siege, and we're at a fundamental change in humanity that we must now begin to figure out what we must do and where we should go to make life for working class people livable. Now, just recently, for the last 4 weeks, I was asked to show up in Vegas to work on Senator Clinton's campaign. Now, I just want to make it clear. I am a socialist. I was asked by my union to go work on the DLC neoliberal candidates campaign, and that's what I did. But in the process of me walking the streets and knocking on doors, I had an opportunity to go to the first time in my life, a trailer park. I walked the trailer park knocking on doors, trying to convince people, working class people who have been thrown under the bus, alienated, harassed to vote for a neoliberal candidate. This is what my experience was. I want to share this with you because I told Mike when I was actually walking on the door, knocking on the door. I got a chance to talk to a poor, working class, white female. Okay, now I want to make it clear. She was a white female, poor, had no job prospects. She was earning a living by selling trinkets. Her husband's been out of work for 2 years, barely scraping by in the trailer park. When I asked her who she's willing to support, she said that she was going to support Donald Trump. So let me make this clear. Listen carefully. She's unemployed. She feels as though that a millionaire, a billionaire is going to support her. When I asked her why she wouldn't support Hillary Clinton, she said because Hillary Clinton supports Wall Street. Well, no. Now, also, too, she felt that society has got away from her. After this long discussion, I realized this is where so many of my white colleagues and white liberals fail. You make statements about poor whites, about them voting against their interests. Let me hit you something. They're not. White skin have privilege. You may not understand it, but that poor white woman understood that no matter what my circumstances are, I got white skin, and Donald Trump is willing to support my privilege. And that's what he did. Now, what does that lead me that we must now begin to understand? For my white colleagues here, you must be able to go to trailer parks and go to white colleges and talk to them about, in order for us to move forward, you must be willing to give up white skin privilege. Because there's a lot of poor white people that will not give it up. This is what we must deal with now. Also, too, let's not make fun. Because, see, the whole idea of white skin privilege was sown into the very fabric of this country, and now it's coming forefront now we must deal with. So let me say this. As progressives working in the Democratic Party, these are things we must do. One, we must fight for working class people reform. We must end that whole notion of bring neoliberal economics to an end. Now, secondly, we must fight for universal single-payer health care. We also must fight to end war and killing wars of aggression. Also, too, since we only have two major capitalist parties, okay, two major parties, we must begin to demand that one of these parties, we don't have a party that represents the interests of working class people. We must begin that fight today. This is what I say to you now. We must end this whole notion of the Big Tent theory. We must stop that. We must make clear demarcations on what we stand for and fight for. We will not capitulate. We will not back up. We demand these now. That's what we must do. And let me say in conclusion, we must agitate and educate working class people to bring them to their historical mission, which is not to reform society, but to transform it in the interest of working class people. Until we're able to do this again, we will be forced for more Donald Trump. Let me tell you, Donald Trump is just one neo-fascist that's coming down the pike. There's plenty more coming. But we must be able to stand. We will not work with a fascist. I disagree with Senator Sanders. We will not work with a fascist. We must fight a fascist every step of the way. That's what we must do. I say this and I say it again. All power to the people, and the revolution continues.